Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rising Tide Leadership Podcast. This is Off the Cuff with Mo and Amber, where I bring a random topic of the week and we get Mo's leadership thoughts. So, Mo, I think you can tell what we're talking about today. It is football season and I am ready.
Is this the year?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm ready, except for I don't know what I'm ready for. It's like disappointment after disappointment, decade upon decade. But I'm
Does
still
your
here for
quarterback
it.
still dress like his mom bought him stuff at Kohl's? Or has he graduated from that?
He does, although he's got some new commercials now and some new boots and some things. And he's a dad now, so he's looking a little bit, yeah, he doesn't look like a dad, but he definitely doesn't look like he's still in high school anymore, which is good.
I love it.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm super excited, right? Like I obviously got my jersey, I got my lucky hat and my lucky cup, and I even got a camping chair. Camping chair this year. I don't camp, but I'm going to set it up in the living room on game day. So I'm ready. But I was thinking about this because it is just like disappointment after disappointment, right? But I still feel like we have a chance. And like we've had some close calls this year or this last few years, which has been fun and then heartbreaking. But I was thinking about all the things. Like, I mean, I listened to all the news and read all the things. There's all predictions, right? Of who are going to be the best teams, who are the best quarterbacks, who do you want to draft for fantasy football, like all that kind of stuff. But then there's this one prediction, which I thought, okay, we need to talk about this. It's who are going to be the worst teams? Like who are going to be the absolute worst teams this year, right? And so I was reading that, and now again, it's just, all the predictions are a little bit different, but generally the same teams make it in that list. And I was thinking about, like, what do you do when you're that team that you're named like the Browns or the Saints when they're like, yeah, this is not your year. Like, Super Bowl, like you're not even making it to the playoffs. What does a coach do? Like, what does a leader do when there's kind of no chance? Like, this is what you do. You're going for the ring. You're not getting there. And specifically, like the Cleveland Browns coach, like it's not his first year. So he's been head coach for about 5 years. So as a leader, what do you do with your team? How do you motivate your people when the typical kind of rating of whether or not you're a good team, like, you're not reaching that? What do you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been coaching for all of my adult life now. And sometimes I've had good teams and sometimes I've had not good teams, but I've had to lead. And I'll tell you this much. When talking about football, it's easy to lead when you're 12-0, 17-0. It's a lot harder to lead when you're 2-10. And yes, there are those teams that are consistently 2-10. And how much does that have to do with leadership from the coach and leadership from the top? If you've seen the movie Moneyball, Billy Beane, who's played by Brad Pitt, tells his boss, look, I need more money. And what Billy Beane's told is, you got to work with what you got. And so for a general manager, for a head coach, a lot of that's out of your hands. You can want the best player in the league, but if the owner isn't willing to get that guy, then what are you going to do? And so what I tell leaders is, what situation are you in? Because Amber, you're right. There's only one team that's going to be at the top. And so in the NFL, there's 32 teams, right? So at the end of the year, there's going to be 31 teams that are going to be disappointed. And so leaders telling people, I want you to be your very best. And hopefully that puts us in the place where we can win a championship. But if it doesn't, I still want my people to be their very best. So if you're a leader of your specific little piece of your company, you may not be the best, but you can help your people be their very best. So that's the best way of saying there's only one team that's going to win the Super Bowl, Amber. It may or may not be the 49ers, but you've got to find those touch points, those benchmarks of success.
So what does that look like when you're, not working with like a sports team, but you are working with your team of people? What does it look like to find those benchmarks? Are you saying basically, is it individual for that person? Is it more of, okay, hey, we know we're not going to reach this particular sales goal, but if we can improve this much from last year, like, is it collective? Is it individual? Is it both?
It's a little bit of both. When I bring somebody on the team, I'm taking the long view. I want them to be their very best, but I want them to fit within the team. Jim Collins, good to great. talks about getting the right people on the bus and then putting them the correct seats on the bus. And so if you're in charge of your little section of cubicles in your company and you're in charge of 4, 5, 7 people, they need to be their very best. They need to be turning in their reports on time. They need to make sure that they are being there on time. They need to make sure that they're effective, whatever that means. You have to give them those metrics. If you don't give them metrics, then they don't know if they're doing well. You can't just tell somebody get better. And when people tell me, well, Mo, there are some bad people on my team. Yeah, there are bad team members, and those people you have to get off the team because there are no bad teams.
You and I have both worked with volunteers, and the thing that people always say is you can't fire a volunteer. Well, guess what? That's not true. You can reposition them. I mean, there's a kind of a positive way to do that and a negative way to do that, but it really is a disservice to that individual if they're not the right fit to just let them go on struggling, as well as a disservice to the team.
When people come out and tell me how great they are being a leader, I say, go to your local church or your YMCA and then get a bunch of volunteers and lead those volunteers. And until you can lead those volunteers, I don't believe you that you're a good leader. Because anybody can make somebody who's getting paid do what they want to do. That's just management. But like you said, you can't fire a volunteer until you create a culture. Then you can fire a volunteer, because once you get to the place where you are a level 3 or level 4 leader, I don't know very many level 4 leaders. Let's say you get to level 3 and you're in that leadership zone where people want to be a part of the team. They want to build people within the team and build other leaders. Then they're afraid that you're going to relieve them of their position and give their people to somebody else. That's the kind of team that I want. I want people to come and say, no, Momo, I want to be part of this team. I can do it. I've got what it takes. But if you can't do that with a bunch of volunteers, I don't believe you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, one last question on this. So we're setting goals and metrics for our team as individuals, as a collective, but it takes a while sometimes, right, to reach those goals, or a while to see shift and change happen. So how, as a leader, do you build morale or boost morale when people aren't feeling like they're winning? Like, what are some strategies? What are things that leaders can do?
What I do when I come into a team, I want to make it better. The first thing you need to do is fire the leader. If the team isn't winning, and you need to define what winning is, and the only person that defines what winning is the boss, whether that's the president of the company or the director of the specific region, whatever that is. When he or she defines what winning is, that's all I need. If they say we need our sales to go up from $100,000 to $200,000, I've got the metric. Once I've got the metric, I can get there. And if I don't have the right people on the team, I'm going to get them off the team. But practically, I give them things, milestones. I give them checkpoints that they have to hit. And if they don't hit those, then we start having different conversations.
Well, that is off the cuff. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.